Well, it's that time again. I feel the urge, I feel the need to update you on my latest, I don't know what you'd call it. It's not an adventure. My latest project. I thought I would try and find private therapy, private treatment for my agoraphobia, which means, agoraphobia, panic, anxiety, what have you. The whole shebang. I thought, yeah, there's got to be, because having been offered my 30-minute phone call once a fortnight for treatment and telling them that that wasn't suitable, I've been told that I've been put on another waiting list. I mean, from seeing the doctor to getting this treatment has been well, I went to the doctor in February, we're now in October. Work it out for yourselves. I'm now on another waiting list to get intensive treatment. I said, oh, that sounds good. What does this intensive treatment involve? Well, it will probably be a 1-hour session, face to face. Okay, where will that be? Here, which is a town, the next town to the town I live in, which immediately means taking lorazepam to enable me to attend the appointment. Now, for anyone who has or hasn't taken lorazepam, I will just let you know that it has a slight amnesic effect, meaning that it gives you mild amnesia. You feel like you're fully aware, you're in the moment, you're getting everything that's going on around you. Following day, you can remember most of it. 2 days later, it's hazy, it's patchy. I can remember in particular going on a journey quite recently. I went to London, and because of various things, traffic, trying to find where we were getting to and all the rest of it, the journey was probably getting on for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I have practically no memory of that journey. I mean, I had taken 2 lorazepam that day because that's a big journey for me. That's a big, going a long way from my home. And I have almost no memory of that journey whatsoever. And funnily enough, I found a video on my phone that I'd taken during that journey, just a silly, and I didn't even know I'd made it. Did not even know I'd made it. And in the video, it actually says, I actually say, wow, I'm so spaced out, or something like that. And yes, I was. And so that whole day is it's a bit sketchy, it's a bit hazy. I don't recall all of what happened. So bringing it back into context, for me to go to the treatment, I'm going to be on a drug that messes with my memory. Therefore, how much of that information am I going to be able to retain? I don't know. It's debatable. Maybe 50% if I'm lucky. Now, if you imagine, I think they said it would be unusual but maybe possible to get that once a week, that 1-hour appointment once a week, but it's more likely it would be once a fortnight. Now, if you imagine that you have a problem with your thinking and your negative thinking, and you're doing that all day, every day, apart from when you're asleep, those hours of negativity for the whole of 1 week, possibly 2 weeks, think of all the hours of negativity that's going on in that period of time, which is up against 1 hour of positivity. It's going to be a really long road, and I think they said usually they offer about 6 sessions. Oh, it's not going to touch the sides. It really isn't. Why do they not help people more with mental health problems? They are not little things. I mean, if someone had a broken leg and you could see this really bad broken leg, it was, it's all distorted, it's hanging off, people would rush to help that person and they would get them painkillers, and they would get it in a cast, and that would be, you know, they would keep that going. They would keep that treatment going until that leg was solid, mended, fixed, good to go. You know, why don't they do that for people with mental health problems? Just because you can't see our problem doesn't mean it's not as serious. You know, quite often it's more serious having a mental health problem than a physical problem, because the body, you know, with a physical problem automatically wants to heal the problem. But a mental health problem, you're just going around in circles. It's a vicious circle. It's a cycle of negativity, and the more time you have to think about it, the more ingrained it gets. La 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 la. So anyway, I thought, right, I'm going to look into private treatment, but not just having a once a week appointment, which I've done before. In the past, I did a 1 hour treatment once a week. I did that for 6 months, and it helped to a degree, but not a significant amount. And obviously 2 years on, I'm right back where I started 20 years ago with regards to going out and avoidance and panic and all of that. So I thought, I'm going to look for treatment in the UK, inpatient treatment. I thought that it must be available. You know how you get rehab, you know, particularly famous people going into rehab, sometimes they call it for anxiety, stress or burnout. And they go for in-treatment, inpatient, they stay there, you know, for weeks, and until they feel able to go back out in the big bad world and function. And I thought, well, I'm going to look into that, because I think that would be really helpful so that I'm getting treatment daily. So it's being drummed into my head daily. I'm not having that time to go back home and dwell, get back into old habits. I thought, no, this would be really good for me. Now, I rang quite a few different places, quite a few different clinics within the UK. Most of which, strangely, when I rang up, because quite often on their when you look online, it will say anxiety, depression, alcohol addiction, drug addiction. You know, they deal with you know, a multitude of things. And when I phoned them, the bulk of them would say, anxiety and panic. No, we mainly deal with addiction. If you've got an addiction problem, we can help you. I said, well, no, I haven't got an addiction problem. I'm ringing about, you know, panic, agoraphobia. No, we have got, you need a different clinic, part of the group. I'll give you the number. And strangely, for 3 different companies that did this, the number that they gave me was all the same company, and it was the Priory Group. Now, we've all heard of the Priory. Many a famous person has gone into the Priory for, you know, quite often for drugs and alcohol. And I thought, okay, you know, I'll ring and I'll find out. So I rang the Priory Clinic, the Priory Group, and inquired, you know, what they offer and how long, you know, the programs tend to last. But I did also inquire about the cost. Now, the cost for a day, not a night, a day, just 1 day's worth of treatment at the Priory was £890. That's more than my monthly mortgage payment for 1 day. So then she carried on. She said, and for weekly, you know, if you were to stay for a week, £6,230. I'm sorry, what? 6,230, and your nearest clinic to you would be Chelmsford. Who has that kind of money? I was flabbergasted. How can they charge that? You know, who can afford that? What average Joe can afford to do that treatment? And then she also informed me, but before I could get that treatment, I would have to have a consultation. The consultation, which I believe was about an hour long, was between £300 and £400 for a consultation. Now, like I said, I rang different companies. When you looked on the website online, it would give the name of the clinic, and the clinic was not called the Priory Group. I'm not going to name names, but there was 3 different companies I rang, and they all directed me to the mother company, which would be the Priory Group. There was another one that I contacted within the UK, and their daily price was $800 a day and weekly was $5,000. So that was cheaper, but still £5,000 for a week. I don't have that. I don't have that money. And who's to say 1 week is I'm gonna need more than 1 week, I would imagine. So then things got desperate. I'm scrolling through, I'm still on the first page of my search, and I looked at the last one on that first page and it said Ontario, Canada. Do you know what's the matter? What's the matter? I'll do some dinner in a minute, okay? Dinner in a minute. So I rang Ontario. I rang them. And very nice, very polite, really lovely lady I spoke to. And she said, we offer treatment programs that generally run for either 4, 5, 6 or 7 weeks. So I said, oh, great, you know, that's brilliant. So I said, you know, how much is the 4 weeks? She said, well, 4 weeks would be $5,900. So I thought, oh, well, that's much better, you know, dollars, thinking of the exchange rate, plus tax. Plus you've got to get there. I would need a shitload of lorazepam to get me on a plane to Ontario. But it just goes to show, oh, then, I mean, there were 3 companies here in Italy, because my other half is Italian. He rang 3 different companies in Italy, all of which claimed on their website, we are 24 hours a day, here to help you 7 days a week. None of them were available. None of them. So I don't know where to go from here. I don't know whether I should just keep searching and whether there is help out there that is affordable. I don't know. I bloody hope so, because I really, really need some help. So if you're looking, if you know of anywhere, please feel free to comment below, because I would love to find inpatient treatment for my problem. Let me know.